You're not a worse procrastinator than I was, and I did it. It might be a tie, but you're not worse. So other than procrastination or productivity, I'm going to tell you the secret third option. It'll make you more productive, 1, without hating it, and 2, without having to give up the shit you enjoy. And so you can tell in the first 2 minutes whether this is legit and whether this is for you. I'm going to tell you the basic formula right now without making you wait. Let's see if it resonates. I thought I had no willpower or discipline, and I thought that I always took the easy option rather than the hard, rewarding one. Then I learned, a story that we'll talk about another day, that I don't do the easy thing. I do the meaningful thing. Because pain every day for the sake of some abstract reward at the end feels meaningless to me. So if productivity means sacrificing today, fuck productivity. This realization was profound to me because it has one enormous implication. Procrastination wasn't the problem, it was the solution I'd found to make life feel meaningful every day. We're gonna turn this on now. Good job, Sam. We got there in the end. But it gets better. I put this somewhere. I guess my glasses. The solution that we both use that we call procrastination comes, as you know, at a very high cost. The cost of self-esteem, the cost of productivity, the cost of peace of mind, high stress and dread every single day, and in the end, the cost of the meaning in life. And the great news is if procrastination is just a strategy you're using to help you enjoy life now, and it's kind of a shit strategy because it really hurts too, so if we find you a better strategy that lets you both be productive and enjoy life now, you won't need procrastination. There's nothing wrong with your self-discipline, you just don't find productivity and an abstract better future worth sacrificing your life in the meantime, because you're sensible enough to know that life is the meantime. So let's make it all fucking good. So if the secret third option is to come up with a better strategy for helping you enjoy your life day to day than procrastination, how do we come up with that better strategy? Well, I'm about to give you the formula. And you may have noticed that there's a little gap here, because if the options so far are procrastination or productivity, procrastination is doing enjoyable things to distract yourself from productivity, then productivity seems to be the problem. How can we both be productive as well as have a good strategy for enjoying life if productivity is the thing that makes us unhappy? Well, we deal with the pain that is in the productivity. There are usually some superficial ones and usually some deeper underlying, deep-rooted ones as well. And when we deal with both of those areas, then there isn't pain to block you from enjoying productivity. And productivity can be an enjoyable thing unto itself, not because we want to be productive, but because productivity represents you doing things that you consider valuable in the world. You taking actions that you want to take that make you feel good, that make you feel like you're progressing in the direction you want to progress. Rearranging slightly. So we're going to kill 2 birds with 1 stone here, because you need to understand pain, how pain works, how pain ties into procrastination, and why it is the cause of procrastination in order for you to understand and put together this formula. And what better way than a bit of my experience so you can see in a narrative context and so that you can see how this is playing out, build a bit of trust, see that I'm not bullshitting, I was a really good procrastinator. So a little overdue, but I'm Sam, I'm a procrastination coach and researcher, and this is literally all I do, full-time, all the time. Not YouTube specifically, but procrastination, motivation bullshit. But for 20 years, I was a chronic procrastinator. Bills unpaid for years, 8 months post-grad doing literally nothing. All the standard stuff like weeks of procrastination and then deadlines the night before, but that's vanilla shit. I'm not a productivity guru who is naturally motivated, productive and successful. I'm not a productivity guru at all, but I was certainly in the same position that you are. And it was all a mystery to me. It was all this convoluted mess in my brain of loops of why can't I do this, and why do I do this, and then why do I do that, and I can't do this because I need to do this, but then I can't do that because I need to do this, and so I need to go here, and getting overwhelmed and collapsing into bed, distracting myself, gaming for hours, watching Netflix for days straight, whatever. And what I eventually realized through a story that's really for another day was I was always avoiding things because they seemed painful or unpleasant in some way. The pain might have been in the task itself, or it might have been within me, like shame, existential dread, but there was pain triggered when I thought about doing the task, which sent me in a direction opposite to the task. I'm guessing it's probably pretty similar to you. You go to do a thing, there's pain within it, it triggers you, you look away from the thing. There are tasks that you hate more and tasks that you hate less. There are tasks you find inexplicably easy and tasks that feel absolutely impossibly hard, or seasons where absolutely everything feels impossibly hard. Makes it impossible to do anything because you just feel stuck, frozen, like I can't get up, but I don't want to stay here, but I can't get up, but I don't want to stay here. But there are cycles, right? From those low periods to periods where you start to get momentum, you're like, fuck it, I can do this, lock in, build momentum, build motivation, start moving, start progressing. Oh, wait, this is hard. Oh, I don't know if I can keep this up. Ah, fuck, I'm giving up. Never mind. Crash back down to the familiar, comfortable place. Maybe you've tried Pomodoro, time blocking, bullet journaling, or at least watched videos on them. And they work for a few days, sometimes a few weeks, whatever you're trying, sometimes a couple months, but you always fall back to the same pattern. But what no one talks about is that the reason is pain. It's nothing to do with discipline, willpower, or laziness. It's just pain. And you have a particular strategy for avoiding pain, which is procrastination. Other people have different strategies for avoiding pain. There are people, a great deal of people, whose way of dealing with emotional pain is going into work and becoming productive. It just so happens that that way of doing things works far better within capitalism, within the way of operating that the world is structured right now. Most productivity advice wasn't created by procrastinators or for procrastinators. It was created by productive people who already knew how to get up at 5 a.m. and were just giving some advice on how to do it a little easier. And all of them also say the solution is self-discipline, and so when those things don't work, it's like, well, I guess the problem is me. I don't have that thing. I don't have something fundamental that every other human seems to have, so I just must be deficient. That's how I felt. But it's not a character flaw. It's how your brain is wired. Timers, deadlines, habit tracking, they're all built on the premise that you need to push through the pain. When it gets hard, bare your teeth. Grit your teeth. That's why you can show up for work, for friends, for deadlines, but you can't show up for yourself because the external pressure, the pain threat, temporarily overrides the pain of the task. There's something behind me chasing me. Now I got to push through this thing in front of me regardless of the pain. You spend time planning, organizing, and all of that really is just sophisticated procrastination because in the end, the setup isn't the problem. The pain is. That's what changed everything for me, and the moment that I stopped trying to push through the pain, really stopped and started to try to understand how to navigate it instead, everything started to change. And now that you understand a bit of this pain problem, it's what I'm going to teach you too. But not all procrastination is the same, and the pain driving your procrastination is probably different from mine, which means the solution needs to be different too, and that's why standard productivity advice fails so spectacularly. I've bookmarked this part of the video so you can come back to it when you need and you don't have to take notes, but if you'd like to, I encourage you to. Because there are 3 areas of practical pain, and what I'm about to share with you is something that I've put together after looking at thousands of examples of tasks with pains attached over years of working with clients and looking at my own experience too. So this goes into a bit of detail about exactly what sort of pains you experience in a practical way on a day-to-day basis when you get the impulse to procrastinate. And there's kind of a flow here so you can trace where the pains are coming from and how they're building up. We have core pains, expression pains, and consequential pains. The core pains are what every pain breaks down to in some capacity. It may not be sort of recognizable in this way, but at its root, it is one of these. Stress, panic, when there's a deadline, when something bad feels like it's going to happen. Shame, worth, when it feels like something is wrong with you, when you feel bad within yourself, when you feel like you'll be criticized or condemned. Unpleasant, dull, it speaks for itself. It's something that just feels bad in some way. Boring, or, I don't know, maybe it's like outside, it's hot, it's sweaty, it's just uncomfortable. And body, heart, which is really the most important to acknowledge and the easiest to deal with because the only way to deal with it is time. Body, heart is when you're fucking down with a fever, when you're brokenhearted, when you've just had a fight with someone you love. Those kinds of moments, there's a pain in our body that we still want to use a strategy to numb. We might have things to do, but we're not going to deal with those things because when we deal with those things, we feel the pain come up. It's not an effective numbing tool, so we go to procrastinate. All of these things, a pain comes in, and then we want to numb that pain. That's what procrastination is, numbing the pain, the strategy for numbing the pain. We're just trying to find a better way of dealing with pain so you don't have to numb it. If you have a different strategy for dealing with the pain, that's the magic third way that we're talking about. So we have those 4 core pains, those 4 root pains, and then we have 6 expression pains. These are what the pains often express as or feel like emotionally on the front end. When we're actually experiencing something, this is often what they are experienced as. And it allows us to have a bit more nuance, a little bit more of a specific understanding of how we can think about intervening, how we can think about problem solving with these pains. Discontent. This is where you're not quite satisfied in enjoying something. You want to spend some time relaxing, recuperating, whatever. You want to enjoy a bite to eat or something, and something about the rest just doesn't feel satisfying. A really common one with this would be scrolling. I'm just not quite content. I just want to feel enjoyment, and there's this kind of agitation in the body that we can call discontent. Disappointment. You were expecting to spend your time in a particular way. You were hoping, you were looking forward to something positive, and then something has come in to demand something of you that means you can't. It might be someone's asked you to do something. It might be you've remembered something that you need to do that you had forgotten about, that now you feel the pressure and stress to do, but you planned to do something nice, and now you feel disappointed, and that makes you want to avoid the thing even more. Disappointment pain. And we have resentment, feeling resentful towards a task or a person because it's taking time, because it's taking space. You can see there's sort of similarities between these. The expression pains can look similar. It's just useful from a practical point of view to know, oh yeah, that's what I'm feeling. Be able to identify, oh yeah, that is what I'm feeling. Not have to sort of equivocate, is it not? Oh yeah, that's pretty specifically exactly the experience right now. Resentment, I don't want to have to deal with this demand. I don't want to have to do that thing. I'm annoyed at that for expecting something of me, and in my resentment, I want to avoid it more now. Demand avoidance is probably a pretty good, if you're familiar with that term, a pretty good representation of the kind of pain feeling that we get with resentment. Frustration, I'm trying to do this thing, I'm trying to progress on this thing, I'm trying to work a thing out, but it's just not coming together. No matter what I do, it's not pulling together. I had a vision and it's not working, and now I just want to avoid it. I want to shut it down. I want to give up. Frustration with a thing, frustration with a task makes us want to put it away. Uncertainty, one of the most common and most practical ones to intervene in. I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know how to do this. I don't know where to go next. I don't know what the steps are. How do I approach this? And that just sort of shuts us down, sends us in the other direction. Like we just keep avoiding, because it's often the first piece, right, is I need to understand what I'm doing in order to do the thing. So our procrastination just kind of kicks on because we haven't noticed, oh, I just don't know what to do first. It's uncertainty pain. And then the last expression pain is overwhelm. It's just too much. I'm overwhelmed. There's too many things happening. My brain is frying. I can't deal with this. What the fuck do I do? This is too much. Avoid. Overwhelm pain. And then last of all, we have 3 consequential pains. So core pains, the root thing. Expression pains, kind of how it manifests. Consequential pains are the outcome of procrastination because of core pains and expression pains. So core pains and expression pains cause us to procrastinate. And then when we procrastinate, these other pains appear additional to those other ones, which is shame, worth. Again, the same as in core pains, an identity thing. There's something wrong with me. I keep not doing things. I keep procrastinating. I never move forward. I'm a piece of shit. Shame, worth, pain intensifies because of the pattern of procrastination. We also have existential urgency, the feeling of, I just need to move forward faster. I just need to make decisions. I just need to progress in my life. I just need to pick something. Where do I go next? This bigger existential dread feeling of, why am I stuck in my life where I am? We keep not moving on the day-to-day actions, become week to week, month to month, year to year actions, and this existential pain grows bigger and bigger, and everything starts to feel urgent because we're not moving forward. So the years of not moving translates to the day-to-day urgency, and every task feels bigger and more overwhelming as a result. And then we have inertia malaise, when we don't do things repeatedly, when we're stuck in one place, when we don't take action for a while, when we think, oh, one more episode, 2 episodes too far, and now we feel just like, well, I can't do anything. How do I move? How do I, like, I didn't move before, and so how do I move now? Like, why am I stuck? How do I get unstuck? Like, I just feel frozen where I am. The complete lack of momentum, inertia, malaise, this dense emotional feeling that sort of weighs us down and sticks us in place, intensifying the problem because now we're procrastinating more. As I was going through those, 1 or 2 of them probably jumped out at you, and I want you to consider those sort of primary pains for you, primary areas to focus on and to problem solve around as we go into this next part, where I actually give you kind of the formula for how to break this down and start to problem solve. Think about pains that feel the most impactful to you, because that's going to be the most motivating for you to intervene in. You saw one of those pains and you thought, wow, that comes up fucking all the time, then investigating that, understanding that more, going through this process that we're about to go through with that pain is going to make the biggest dent, allow you to come up with these alternative strategies other than procrastination that you like doing, that allow you to enjoy your day without it feeling like awful, painful productivity. Once you understand your pains that come up repeatedly for you, once you understand them deeply, you understand the problem with them, then it's easy for you to start to create things. It's motivating to start to create things because, here's the problem, I want to solve it. I think we're all biased towards problem solving. Problem solving just feels good. We like problem solving. Humans like problem solving, and I have no doubt at all that you do too, when you understand the problem deeply, when it feels possible to problem solve. And so if you're seeing that pain and thinking, wow, I think that's the problem, great. we're going to start to problem solve it. So once you've identified one of your key pain types, we go through a 4-step experimentation process. And this is what took me from chronic procrastinator to someone who doesn't struggle with this anymore. And it's what clients use to break free from procrastination too. And most clients start somewhere like, Sam, I think I'm the worst procrastinator you've ever met. I don't know if this will work for me. So if that's you too, you're in the right place. Step 1, identify the pain. You're procrastinating something. You've noticed that you're procrastinating something. That has to happen. You have to notice that there's procrastination happening for you to do anything about it. You have to notice that there's procrastination happening for you to disrupt it in the first place. But it's inherently a strategy of distracting oneself. So you're not going to notice straight away, but there will come a point where you notice, oh shit, I'm procrastinating. It's time to do step 1. Identify the pain. Why am I procrastinating? What is painful about that task? If I look at the list from the video that I maybe have just noted down, or at least I have in my YouTube saves, what is the pain that I'm feeling in this moment? Or screenshots, whatever. What's the pain that I'm feeling in this moment? Or if you've just identified a pain that you know is core, then think of a task that is related to that pain, that pain comes up in, a task that you commonly avoid because of that pain. Maybe a couple, and note down those tasks so when you go to do them, when it comes up on your list, whatever reminder comes into your head, oh yeah, I need to do that thing, you can jump straight to, I know what the pain is. And you need to do this for the reason that I said a couple of minutes ago, which is we like problem solving, but we need to understand what the problem is first. Most of us jump to conclusions about what problems are. We just try to come up with something that'll be a solution rather than actually understanding what is happening within me. What is the emotional state? What is triggering me? Why does this suck? Why do I want to avoid it? What's the pain? Understanding that deeply equips you, gives you the information you need to start to problem solve leading into step 2. So in the beginning, for me, I initially thought that it was just there was something wrong with me. I thought, I'm broken, there's something wrong, must be shame-worth. It's just this deep shame-worth thing. There's something wrong with me, I can't deal with that, I can't change this underlying thing. But realizing, okay, no, hold on, there's something mechanical here. What's the actual pain in the task? Why is the pain unpleasant? Shame has built up over time, but why is the pain unpleasant? And investigating that deeply allowed me to see one really common one for me is uncertainty pain. I often just don't know how to enter the thing. And then another really big one is disappointment, and another really big one is discontent. Is those two sort of, I just want to enjoy things, and the enjoyment is being taken away from me, and it makes me feel low and makes me want to distract myself, and I'll just do the fun thing because I want to do the fun thing. That's okay. So investigating more deeply allowed me to see, hold on, shame worth, more secondary, really before that is uncertainty, I don't know how to enter the thing, and then feeling like my time and my enjoyment is being taken away from me in some way. There are better and worse ways to do this, but there's no intrinsically right or wrong way because you're just trying to get information, and the more information you get, the more you'll have to work with. You can observe it today, you can observe it tomorrow without intervening, without going any steps further. But when we do go steps further, we come to step 2. I'm itchy as shit, and I keep itching my nose, and I'm going red and splotchy, but whatever. Step 2 is gain an insight. As you're investigating, as you're understanding the pains, and this might happen so quick, it's not a difficult thing. Step 1, step 2, really tied together. I want to make it really granular so you know exactly specifically what needs to happen, but identify pain comes into gain an insight. Once you've understood a piece of the pain, you're like, hold on, that's interesting, there's something there. That speaks to the problem. That speaks to what's going wrong. That's an insight. This is what the pain is. This is something that comes up that stops me. This is why I get so overwhelmed when I do the thing. Those are insights. Insights allow us to problem solve. So as we're looking to identify pain, we'll start to get information. So the action, try to identify pain. And then there's this sort of analysis that's happening as you try to identify until you come across an insight, something that you feel you can use practically to try something, to start to problem solve, to start to find a way to change how you deal with the pain. So for me, the insight might be, hold on, I think that the shame worth thing is actually as a result of procrastinating over time. So what's the actual pain that's causing the procrastination? Well, it's tied to this discontent, disappointment. I know those are things that I feel, and those ones probably align more with the boredom, the unpleasant, dull root pain. So there's something dull, uninteresting about these things. How can I make them more interesting? Maybe that's the pathway that I take forward. And that's leading us straight into step 3. You can see this is fairly straightforward. You can see how this applies. You can see how you are equipped to go through this process. And the only thing that's stopping you is the fact that you feel that procrastination is an innate problem, the fact that you've been looking at it as a self-discipline problem, the fact that you've been looking at these strategies as fixes rather than you as a specific person with specific problems who probably needs to adjust and adapt things organically for themselves. And if you have your head around this kind of process, this organic, adaptable process, then you can apply it for yourself indefinitely. You don't need help anymore once you've learned the skill. And that's what I do with clients as well, is we're focusing on the skill. We're developing the skill so you can go away and do it yourself. So if you practice this skill for yourself, if you feel confident repeating this for yourself, then you will be able to create your own strategies. And that's step 3, ideate and experiment. Come up with an idea for something that you can test that might give you either a feeling of less pain in relation to the task, that might make the pain a bit less for that task, or it might just give you a bit more information about the thing. Like, okay, I've got an insight, but I don't think I know what to do with it yet. So, okay, I know, well, I think I hypothesize, I think it has something to do with unpleasant, dull root pain. And I know it's sort of that disappointment, discontent thing, but I'm not sure what to deal with disappointment, discontent. So let me just take it back to the root. I'm going to go and try to do this task. I'm going to spend 5 minutes on this task just to see if it sort of triggers the pain, brings it up, makes me really feel it, so that I can see if I get any more information from that. That's a really simple experiment that you can try now too, is do what you normally do, see if the pain comes up, and see if you notice anything more about the pain just by doing that. And then by doing that, I might see, okay, the one that's coming up right now is that sort of discontent. Actually, I feel like I didn't have enough of a break. Why don't I feel like I had enough of a break? I spent ages scrolling. Oh, you know what? Scrolling isn't that fun. It isn't actually satisfying. Maybe that's why. So I had a really long break, but it didn't feel rewarding anyway, in any way. So I think I might need to find a more effective way of rest. Okay, that might be my next experiment. And then I see, after maybe I've watched a couple of episodes of a show I like, see if the discontent pain is less. Might be a lot, might be just slightly. And that says, okay, there's something here. How can I take it further? How can I make myself feel more satisfied with the break? How can I find a kind of break that feels really relaxing, really enjoyable? Maybe that's how I do it. Maybe there's a couple of things that I try to stack. You see the ideas start to flow because you've got a bit of understanding. You sought to identify the pain. What's going on here? When you asked that question, you started to see some insights coming together. You picked one that you thought would be good. You thought you could do something with it. You had a bit of curiosity in. Okay, how can I turn that into some kind of a test, some kind of an experiment? And I'm not done with that experiment loop until I've done the experiment. Step 4, do the experiment. Try the thing. And hey, maybe you'll come up with an idea for an experiment and you realize, no, actually, I don't want to do this for this reason. And then you immediately ideate a new experiment. Just by thinking about it, you might get some more insights into the pain, saying, well, how does even the idea of that feel? That gives me a better idea of the pain that I'm feeling right now. And so then you can keep going around in your head till you come to an experiment. You're like, yeah, fuck yeah, I want to try that. Let me try that. And then you go try it, and you get a bit more information. And honestly, this is the thing that clients struggle the most with, that I need to work the most through with clients, is getting out of the headspace of, I need to do this task. No, you don't need to do the task. You'll get the task done last minute if you have to. You need to slow down, understand the pain, come up with ideas to reduce it. Practice that. Practice experimenting so that you can understand what's going on within you, so you can respond easily. So you don't have to depend on stress, so you don't have to depend on pushing. Don't just get the pain down from a 10 to a 7 and now it's low enough that you can force yourself, or a 7 to a 4 and now it's low enough that you can force yourself. Work at it so you're able to get it to a 0 whenever you want, lightly and easily. Don't settle for less than that. Experiment so that you can get information. What worked, what didn't. When something worked, okay, how can I replicate that in other areas? How can I apply that to this task or this task? Do they apply to these tasks? Is that a way that I could build motivation? Or there was something there that made me feel excited. There was something there that really massively relieved me. So how can I reuse that? It's not just, at that point, bringing it up to a baseline and getting rid of the pain, bringing it up to a level where you're like, okay, this is okay now. It's going beyond that into enjoyment and excitement. And that's what makes this awesome, is when you get rid of the pain, it starts to flip, sort of zero-sum game, just from pain into active enjoyment. And so by understanding what worked about that, or hold on, I tried that thing, it helped a little, but there was this other pain here as well that now I can see. Now that I've tried that thing, I can see, hold on, there was another pain that I need to focus on. That's an insight that sends you back into the loop of a new ideation, a new experiment idea, into a new experiment that gives you more information. And over time, you collect this map In the beginning, it's going to be the hardest. You have no reference points of information yet. But over time, we map what's going on within us, so we have a way of responding strategically that allows us to navigate our triggers, that allows us to navigate the world, the productivity, in ways that we'd like to, so we don't have to depend on the procrastination strategy, because we have ways to do things that we enjoy more. Now, I hope you see this isn't just about tasks. This isn't just about productivity. This isn't just about getting stuff done. It's not really about those things at all, because all of those are for the purpose of you enjoying life. And I hope you can see that as you go through this process, as you develop a skill like this, as you have a way of navigating these things that doesn't make you feel like, wow, I'm shit. I can't do this. I never progress. Why do I never move forward in the way that I want? Why am I kind of stuck where I am? Why don't I progress in the way that I'd like to? How that changes your identity. You start to go through this kind of process, identity shifting from those heavy places into, hold on, I can do this. I understand what's going on. I see what's playing out. I see why I feel the way that I do. I see how to respond when that trigger comes in, so that I can navigate it in a way that doesn't send me careening towards procrastination, that doesn't send me careening towards inertia malaise that gets me stuck for 2 days. I know to expect that that's going to happen, and I know how to respond so that it doesn't. And I like responding in that way because it makes me feel good. It shifts the identity from something heavy and overwhelming into something positive and hopeful and exciting. You becoming the kind of person who enjoys doing shit, not because you want to be productive, not because you're a productive kind of person inherently, but because there's shit that you care about that takes action, that requires action, that you want to take. You don't want people to say, hey, you have to do it. Here's the thing that's in front of you that if you don't do it, you're not going to have a roof over your head. We can set that aside. Like, that might be the context we're in, but you can rise above that because these are things that you want to do anyway. And if that, say, demand pain comes in, knowing I can navigate that, it doesn't have to sort of overwhelm me and shut me down, because I still care about these things and I don't want that person to have that power over me. I'm the kind of person who takes action because I enjoy taking action, because I know how to do it in a way that is enjoyable to me, because I know how to do it in a way that's meaningful to me. And you start with whatever you picked earlier, with whatever pains you identified as, wow, that one really sticks out in relation to this, and this task. And it's fine too, I want to say. If you saw every one of them and you're like, fuck, I'm all of them, where do I start? Pick a task that feels meaningful. Pick a kind of activity that you procrastinate all the time that if you were going to be productive on it, it would really move your life forward. That's where the identity shift will start. It's picking things that are meaningful to you, that you want to change, that give you motivation to try to change them. See, what's the pain? What do I think the pain is here? Hypothesize until you come across an insight. I think maybe this will help. I think maybe if I go for a walk before I go to film, it'll sort of get the ball rolling. And I'll give myself permission to not film after I'm on the walk, but probably 9 times out of 10 I'll be happy to film. And that 10th time, hey, maybe it's fine if sometimes I don't do that, if I give myself the freedom to not when I really don't want to. And whatever pain is coming up in those moments, that deeper pain 1 out of 10 times, I'll deal with that later. It's not there all the time. It's not as pressing. I'm able to navigate things differently because everything's a bit lighter. There's breathing room now, and it feels really good, and I want that for you too. So here's what I want you to do. I don't want this to be ambiguous. I don't want this to be abstract. I want it to feel really specific. And I know from clients that it can feel really abstract in the beginning. Like, after I've done this, what do I do? How do I do this one? And then have I done it wrong? Each step, other than just the action that it is also kind of a litmus test of the previous step. You know that you've succeeded at identifying pain if you have an insight. You have some kind of I feel like I could do something with that. And you've successfully identified a pain. You know that you've ticked that box. If you can come up with an idea, it's an idea that might reduce the pain a bit. It doesn't have to be, I have any confidence that it'll reduce the pain, just any idea. Because that'll give you a bit more information that clarifies where you could go next. But if you have an idea, you know that you've gained an insight. That's the checkbox. If you've come up with an idea, you've definitely come up with some kind of an insight. Don't stress, don't think, hold on, have I done it right? This is an organic process. This is problem solving. It's just human problem solving applied to a situation that we've been told we can't do it. You can't do it. It's just have self-discipline. There's no other way. You got to do it our way. It's just applying problem solving. It's super organic. You're capable of it. And if you have an experiment that you're ready to try, that means you've succeeded at coming up with an idea. And then it loops back through. So what I want you to practically do right now, you've got pains, you've got tasks. Pick either a pain that felt really relevant to you, or think of a task that it would feel really meaningful to make a bit easier. And then I want you to think about the pain enough, reflect on the pain enough that you come up with an idea of something you could try. Something, some kind of an insight. You come across an insight that allows you to think, well, what could I do with this? Maybe I could try doing it for just 2 minutes, and then I have to stop. I have to stop. I'm not allowed to keep going after those 2 minutes. It's not to try to build momentum into it. I have to stop and see if that relieves any of the pain. See if something about momentum does something. Hey, I think there's a bit of uncertainty pain. How could I gain clarity? Is there a way that I could gain clarity on this? Okay, it's boredom pain. How could I make this less boring? It's super abstract if you stay in, what's going on here? How do I deal with it? It's just words like break it down to a pain. It's just the first step, break it down to a pain. And that'll start to clarify, what could I do with this? I want you to pick one thing, one task, one pain, follow that pain, and then just come up with any idea and try it. I don't give a fuck what the idea is. Feed it into ChatGPT, whatever AI, to help you come up with an idea you like better even. But come up with some idea, literally any idea, and see if that has any impact. It could be banging your water bottle over your head. It could be sticking your hand in the bin. It could be breaking a glass. Like literally anything. And see, did that make me want to do the task more? No. Why not? Well, I think it was irrelevant. Okay, so my idea has to be relevant. Okay, well, that's an insight. It says it has to feel like it's actually related to the task. But hey, maybe breaking the glass actually was cathartic. It helped with the resentment. Now I feel kind of satisfied. Okay, there's something there. How could I repeat that without losing all my glasses? I've been through a lot in this video. You've got some steps, and I know they're organic. And I know that that's stressful because it feels like, how do I do this the right way? How do I build on this? How do I develop this? How do I go further? But we've been through enough in one video. So if you want more, if you want to take this further, if you want to see how to do this better, that's what this channel is for. Stick around. I'm going to teach you. Or if you're like, I'm sick of procrastination already. I want to get rid of it right now. I want help. Then there's a link in the description for that as well. The main thing I want you to remember here is it's not a matter of procrastination or self-discipline, procrastination or just be productive. It's the secret third option. We can make our own strategies that work for us, that mean that we don't need to depend on procrastination anymore. And at the real root of this is procrastination isn't who you are. I want you to remember that. If you take away nothing else, if you take away nothing practical, procrastination is not your identity. It's not who you are. It's a pattern that you've learned. It's a strategy you employ for a particular purpose. Start with one experiment. See what you learn. Gonna start making better strategies. I'll be here if you want to stick around.